and thank you all for joining us for our monthly support group. My name is Jeanette Rodriguez. I'm the program coordinator at the Riverside Medical Clinic Charitable Foundation. First off, I'd like to thank our wonderful sponsors, the Riverside Medical Clinic, for all their support. If you're just now joining us, you're going to go ahead and just make sure that during the presentation, you are able to use that chat box or that Q&A for any questions for the very end, okay? And if you are, let's see, let me make sure I'm going down my checklist. I won't want to forget anything. All right, I think that's pretty much it. And again, so good morning to those of you that are just now joining. A little bit about our guest speaker today. Our guest speaker is Efren Moreno Jr. He is a Senior Manager of Community Education and Outreach for the East LA Office of Alzheimer's Los Angeles. He has been active for many years doing community education as a founding member of a nonprofit, Active SGV, and serving as mayor and council member for the City of Alhambra. From 2000 to 2004, Efren is also a caregiver for his mother with Alzheimer's. He is a graduate of California State University, Los Angeles, with a BS in Business Administration, and he has earned an executive certificate from the Home Modification Program at the Leonard School of Gerontology at USC. So without further ado, I'd like to give the floor to Efren.
Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you for this opportunity to present and welcome everyone. Again, my name is Efren Moreno with Alzheimer's Los Angeles. We're a local nonprofit that serves a greater LA area and doing it all virtually now. All of our services are free, and I'll be talking more about that. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen now. Okay. So today's presentation, we're going to be talking about making the home safe for someone with Alzheimer's. So what are we going to cover? What is Alzheimer's disease? The safety issues that arise when living with someone with Alzheimer's or other dementia. Skills to lower the risk of harm for someone with Alzheimer's or other dementia. And how to modify the home to make it safer, and what products are available. So what is dementia? Many people get confused and think that dementia and Alzheimer's are the same thing. They are not, okay? Dementia is a general term for a set of symptoms that include impaired thinking and memory. And when that impairment starts to interfere with daily life seriously, it's when it starts affecting their ability to take care of themselves, to feed themselves, do anything, as far as general life. So dementia can be caused by over 100 different types of diseases. Alzheimer's, vascular dementia, mixed dementia, Lewy bodies, Parkinson's, Huntington's disease, and frontotemporal all cause dementia. The difference is dementia is those symptoms caused by different diseases, okay? So just want that to be clear. It's not the same, it's just a set of symptoms, okay? And a lot of times people think that this is a normal part of aging. It is not. It is not a normal part of aging. Dementia is a result of a disease. So just want to make that clear. So, but what is Alzheimer's disease? Well, Alzheimer's disease is a disease that causes 50 to 70% of all dementia, okay? So it's the most common cause of disease. And, And it is also the #4 leading cause of death in California. So it is a big impact on our community. And it is the only cause of death out of the top 10 causes in the United States that is not preventable There is no cure, and there's no medicine that can slow it down. So it is estimated that 5.8 million people right now live with this disease. And by the year 2050, it will increase to 16 million people. So this disease not only impacts the person with it, but as well, it also impacts the family members. But right now, we're going to watch this video to give a little more detailed information about Alzheimer's disease.
What is Alzheimer's disease? Alzheimer's is a slow, fatal disease of the brain affecting 1 in 10 people over the age of 65. No one is immune. The disease comes on gradually as 2 abnormal protein fragments called plaques and tangles accumulate in the brain and kill brain cells. They start here in the hippocampus, the part of the brain where memories are first formed. Over many years' time, the plaques and tangles slowly destroy the hippocampus, and it becomes harder and harder to form new memories. Simple recollections from a few hours or days ago that the rest of us might take for granted are just not there. After that, more plaques and tangles spread into different regions of the brain, killing cells and compromising function wherever they go. This spreading around is what causes the different stages of Alzheimer's. From the hippocampus, the disease spreads here to the region of the brain where language is processed. When that happens, it gets tougher and tougher to find the right word. Next, the disease creeps toward the front of the brain, where logical thought takes place. Very gradually, a person begins to lose the ability to solve problems, grasp concepts, and make plans. Next, the plaques and tangles invade the part of the brain where emotions are regulated. When this happens, the patient gradually loses control over moods and feelings. After that, the disease moves to where the brain makes sense of things it sees, hears, and smells. In this stage, Alzheimer's wreaks havoc on a person's senses and can spark hallucinations. Eventually, the plaques and tangles erase a person's oldest and most precious memories, which are stored here in the back of the brain. Near the end, the disease compromises a person's balance and coordination. And in the very last stage, it destroys the part of the brain that regulates breathing and the heart. The progression from mild forgetting to death is slow and steady and takes place over an average of 8 to 10 years. It is relentless and, for now, incurable. Helping your family, friends, and neighbors to better understand Alzheimer's will reduce stigma, improve care, and even help the fight for a cure. Thanks for helping to do your part.
So, it's a pretty impactful little video about this deadly disease. Here is a picture of 2 brains. Now, the human brain weighs about 3 pounds, and it controls everything. Our ability to reason, think, remember, communicate, and make decisions. And the brain has approximately 86 billion neurons, right? And each neuron makes thousands of connections to other neurons. So there could be 100 trillion connections between the neurons. And as we saw in the video, Alzheimer's is the accumulation of those bad proteins, and they start killing off the brain cells and stop the functioning. So if we look at these 2 brains, what do you notice? Well, one brain looks smaller, one brain looks darker, the gaps look a lot larger than the other one. So what's the difference? Well, the one on the right has Alzheimer's disease, and the one on the left is normal. So you can see that this disease causes physical change in the brain and changes the brain's ability to function. So this should tell you that all of these things, when a person has this disease and the changes in their behavior, it's not that they're doing it on purpose or anything. It's because of the disease. And that's what we need to learn and take to heart. Okay. So what are some strategies that we can do to make the home safer? One is change the behavior. The second one is change the environment and change your thinking. So change the behavior can mean addressing the cause of the behavior. Changing the environment means physically making changes to the room or the home where the person is living. And then again, changing your thinking. You have to remember that is the disease, and this person does not have control over what they're doing sometimes, and the best solution is for you to change your expectation. So one of the first strategies is IDEA. And IDEA is an acronym that comes from the first two letters of identify, the letter E from educate, and the letter A from adapt. So the first step of using this strategy or this approach is to, identify what is going on. You have to name and describe the behavior. What is the challenging behavior? And you have to be specific. So where is it happening? How often, and for how long? And what was happening before the behavior started? So we have to think, well, what was happening right before, and then notice what time of the day do you see this happening. So it's a very important thing that you do. So I'm going to read a scenario of give you a situation, and we're going to go through the 3 steps of IDEA with this scenario. So Jenny is a 75-year-old woman with Alzheimer's disease and is a former nurse. In the evening, she paces the hallways in the house saying, "I need to go, I need to go." She would not stop walking, even to eat dinner, and her family doesn't know what to do. So, doing the first step of identify what was going on. What's the start? What's the behavior? So we would say Jenny was pacing. And where was it happening? It was in the hallway, it was at home. And how often was it happening? Well, it was mostly all the time and mostly in the evening. So, and how long was it happening? Well, until Jenny eventually goes to sleep. So those are the first steps. You have to figure out, what you're doing. And sometimes some behaviors, it's a good idea to keep a log of what's going on and keep track of what's going on. And that will help you figure out what is going on, what may be some of the causes. Okay? And you can also take that with you to a future doctor appointment, and they may also be able to help you identify what may be the cause. Okay? Step 2, educate. So learn about this behavior. Understand the cause of the behavior. So there are could be many bases or causes of behavior. It could be a health trigger. It could be maybe they're taking a new medicine, they're feeling sick, or they have pain. It can be environmental. So the room might be too hot, it might be too cold. There might be too many people in the room. So that may cause a behavior. Activity. So activity means maybe they're not active. They're just sitting there and they're bored and they're acting out. Or it could be that you're having them do something that is too hard for them to do. Because remember, they're losing their ability to do certain things. So they might get frustrated or get angry because they can't do it anymore. Or it could be communication. Communication they're not able to speak, find the right word or be able to communicate what they're feeling. So it might be because of the lack of communication they're acting out. Okay. So that's what we have to understand, what is the meaning behind the behavior. So through behavior, they're also trying to communicate. So that's how we have to interpret it. Behavior, they're trying to communicate something to us, and that, and we also need to understand that a person with Alzheimer's still has certain emotional needs, and they need to be met. Okay, so other things, there's physical need, health problems, and problems doing the task. So those could all be issues in creating this behavior. So step 3, adapt. Adjust the behavior. Make necessary changes, take control. So change the environment. Like I said, that can mean changing the room, maybe put them in a room that there aren't a lot of people. It could be making the room cooler, anything like that. So distract or redirect. So if you see them all of a sudden getting upset, well, maybe again, move them to another room and turn on some of their favorite music, or maybe say, hey, let's go eat something. So you're redirecting their attention to something else. And then another thing would be to address the cause. Okay, maybe they're doing something that is too hard for them. So you make them do something else, or you break down the task to some simpler tasks. But most importantly is that you need to change your attitude. That is the most important thing, that you need to understand that this person has less control over their behavior, and you caring for them and the environment that they're in has a larger impact on their behavior. So what are some of the common safety concerns with someone with dementia? They are getting lost, accidents, falls, and medications. So the first safety concern is getting lost and wandering. So why is that a risk factor? Well, more than 60% of people with Alzheimer's disease will wander and get lost at some point in their lives. So that's 60%. And if the person is not found within 24 hours, that can lead, they have a 50% chance of suffering serious injury or death. So why do people get lost? Why is it that they wander away? Well, they get confused. They don't recognize their home anymore, or maybe they want to go to a place that they used to go to all the time and get lost that way. So, and it could happen also as it gets into the afternoon, early evenings with sundowning, causing more confusion. Okay, so what are some of the things here is the story. It's a true story of Nancy Polakis. Nancy had early onset disease and was 55 years old. She and her husband, Kirk Moody, went to go visit the LA County Museum of Art back on October 15th, 2016. So she needed to go use the restroom. So her husband took her to the restroom, and then he went to go use the one on a different floor. When he came back, he couldn't find her. She had wandered off, and they couldn't find her. And so it was through her loss that they created, the LA County of LA created the LA Found program. Unfortunately, they don't have it in Riverside, but this is something that is that works in LA County, and maybe something that Riverside should look into as well. Unfortunately, the remains of Nancy were found 2 years after she had disappeared. And so that was a major push for this program to get started. So what are other things you can do? There's medical alert and safe return. It's again another kind of a service that you can subscribe to, where if a person wanders off, they have a bracelet or a necklace and has their ID. The police are able to call that, and the medical alert people call the family. Okay, we do offer that. If you call Alzheimer's Los Angeles, we can help you sign up for that. But what are some other things that you can do? Well, some things that you need to have on hand if you're caring for someone and there's the potential of them walking off, is that you have the list of medications, allergies, doctors' names, numbers, legal paperwork, and more importantly, a recent photo. Okay, so you have the identification tracking devices like Medical Alert and LA Found, but there are other kinds of tracking devices, phone, GPS, wristbands that are available. And so what other home modifications can you do? That again is like changing the environment. You can install alarms, door alarms or bells, so you will know when the door is open. You can put in bed pads or rug alarms, meaning if they get out of bed, there will be a sound, or if they step on the rug right beside their bed, you would hear that sound. So you can secure the doors as well. Simple things, because of this disease, their perception is affected. And so if you were to just hang a curtain over the door and make it disappear just by covering it using a long curtain, they won't see just a curtain. They won't, understand that there's a door behind there. You can also do that by painting the door, matching the same color as the wall. So those are some things that can be done. Again, you want to make sure your yard is secure, that there's a gate and it's locked. You may want to secure any stairways so they don't step and fall down. And also hide other kind of triggering things, like seeing their shoes or keys or a purse. That may trigger them wanting to leave. So other accidents that can happen. So there's a scenario here where Anna loves to cook. Anna loves to cook. Her favorite dish to make is blueberry pancakes. And Anna assures her family that her Alzheimer's is not severe enough to stop cooking. And one morning, she was making her delicious blueberry pancakes. And when Anna tried to turn the pancake over, she burned herself, and not knowing how to react, she got upset and threw the pan on the floor. When Anna's partner came running into the kitchen, all she saw was a pan on the floor and Anna by the stove looking very upset. So using IDEA, what happened? So what's the problem? We saw Anna was upset and she was in the kitchen. And how often did it happen? Well, it just happened this one time. So that's step one of IDEA, identify. Step two, educate. So what could be causing this behavior? Was it a health trigger? Probably not. Was it environmental? Probably not. Activity? Possibly, because she was cooking by herself and maybe it was too hard for her. Maybe her, because of the brain's affected, her coordination wasn't good. And communication, possibly. She didn't know, wasn't able to tell anyone else how she was feeling. So step three, adapt. What would you do to make Anna safe? Well, maybe encourage her not to cook anymore, and by removing the knobs, distract. You can encourage Anna to maybe join doing some exercises instead of cooking breakfast, or maybe say, hey, let's go out and get breakfast. So again, you may want to change your attitude by accepting the fact that she can no longer cook and that you would have to help her or be there all the time. So what else do you have to do to make the home safe? It's very important that we lock away any knives and guns. Very important. Sometimes a person with Alzheimer's disease may feel confused and frightened even in their own home. And this can create a very dangerous situation. If there are guns or weapons in the house, make sure they're locked away safe and placed in a safe place, and there are no, and not loaded, no bullets in the gun. Even a person with Alzheimer's who was able to safely handle the gun in the past doesn't have the capability to make those complex cognitive connections with a gun. They might not recognize a family member. So it's a very dangerous situation. And if you ever come across a situation where that happens, the person has a weapon, it's, you know, call 911, you know, leave the house, make sure you're safe, call 911, but please explain to them fully what's happened. Okay? Could be a very dangerous situation. Because if they come in thinking, not knowing that they have dementia or anything else, it might end up very tragic. So what are some other preventative tips for accidents? In the kitchen, you can use anti-scalding devices on the faucets. You can also lower the temperature of the water heater, have some auto stove turn-off devices, or just simply remove the knobs. And then use plastic eating and drinking ware rather than glass or ceramic. Okay. Throughout the house, make sure that the furniture is sturdy and it, you know, it will hold them if they sit down. Lock away any other sharp items, especially cleaning supplies, because there will come a point where they will not be able to determine what is mouthwash and what is a cleanser, you know, some kind of cleaning liquid. So it's important to lock away the supplies and lock the kitchen and bathroom doors. So some other safety tips for, you know, visual is to put some decals on glass, sliding glass doors. And also use contrasting colors to increase visibility of items such as stairs and handrails. Now, this is another thing. People, again, I mentioned earlier that their perception isn't working as well. And what if you might have a dark colored, you know, area rug or a mat on the floor, and that person's going to think it's a big hole in the ground and they might fall through it. And so that's something that you need to understand. And that's how you can either make the home safe by, you know, disappearing the door, or you know, they'll want to jump over it. So you got to think of all these different things. So the other possible accident are falls. Okay, so in this scenario, Sylvia loves her mother and wants to help her, but the last couple of months she had trouble getting her mother, Lisa, to shower. Lisa says she already showered and doesn't need another shower when it's not true. The fight has caused Sylvia to get tense and agitated, making Lisa more resistant to get in the shower. Sylvia doesn't know what to do. Okay, so let's go through the 3 steps. So step 1, identify. What's the problem? Well, Lisa doesn't want to take a shower. And, you know, it's in the bathroom. Once a week, they try to give her a bath. And so step 2, educate yourself. What could be causing this behavior? So is it health related? Probably not. Is it environmental? Possibly. Activity triggers. Well, it could be. Maybe the mother has gotten to the point where taking a shower is difficult for her and she doesn't know the steps. That could be a problem. Also, it could be maybe that she's fearful of falling in the shower. Okay, so what else might be a problem in communicating? So we hear that it says that Sylvia gets tense and agitated when dealing with her mom. So maybe that might be it. That then, you know, we have to be aware of how we communicate with them. If we communicate them in a harsh tone of voice, agitated, that's going to be reflected back. So it's always important to, remember the way you communicate to them. Talk to them in a calm, easy voice, and never be angry or mad. Okay, body language is very important. So, step 3, change the environment. What can be done? Well, first, it could be just making the environment, changing the environment, making it more pleasant. Maybe putting in the chair in the shower for the mom, or it could be just changing. Maybe instead of doing a shower, maybe she would be more acceptable of having a sponge bath. Okay, so what happened is once Sylvia got the bath chair and Sylvia relaxed and communicated nicely, the mother was able to start taking a shower again. So there's a lot of things you have to go through. All right. So what are some things that you can do to prevent falls and make the home safer? Well, install handrails in the tub or in the shower and other equipment. And a lot of times, some homes are built with narrow doors, and people can't enter into the bathroom with their wheelchair or their walker. And there's a device called the swing away or offset door hinges that if you install them, it opens the door and it gives an additional about 2 inches. And that's just enough, hopefully, to use the wheelchair to get in or the walker. So that might be another hindrance. They're scared to go into the bathroom because they can't use their walker. So what are some fall prevention tips? Again, in the home, install rails in the bathroom, on the stairs or by the bed. Use rubber-based non-slip rugs. Do not wax the floors. Remove clutter, off the floors, boxes, cords, leftover Amazon boxes, whatever. Have good lighting and switches near the doors and stairs. And for the person, make sure that their clothes fits nicely, that they're not going to trip over it. Have good shoes that aren't slippery. And then another option also is to exercise regularly. Strengthen their legs. People with this disease will not exercise that much, and so that's going to affect their balance as well. So remember, the brain controls everything, all kinds of things, balance, everything. So it's good to try to get them to exercise regularly. And for people who are caring for them, you always have to plan and allow plenty of time to do whatever needs to be done. If there's time to get to the doctor's office, time to get them ready, time to get them into the car, time to get them out of the car, include the drive and traffic and whatever. So always plan for plenty of time. So medications. Medications could be a serious problem. They're going to forget not to take their medicines. They can take too much of the medication. They may take the wrong medication. They may confuse their medication with pet medication. It's a problem. So in this scenario, Ruth has dementia and diabetes, and she's just moved in with her daughter, Sarah. Sarah is the primary caregiver for Ruth, but she works part-time and has to leave her mother alone for a couple of hours a day. Before Sarah leaves to go to work, she leaves all of Ruth's medicine in the pill box and reminds her mom to take them with food. One day, Sarah got back home and noticed that Ruth was acting differently. She was dragging her feet more and bumping into furniture. Since Ruth just moved in a month ago, Sarah doesn't know whether this is normal or not. So, use an idea. Well, what's the problem? Well, the mother, Ruth, is bumping into everything in the house, and how often? This is the first time that the daughter's noticed it. Okay, so step 2, educate yourself. What can be the cause of the behavior? Well, maybe it's health related because she either took the wrong medication or she didn't take the right medication. Is it environmental? Is this, so the mother just moved in a month ago, so maybe she's not used to the new home. What else could it be? Communications, maybe the mother can't say what she's having, or it could be a medical emergency. So step 3 is adapt. Change the environment. So change the environment is also might be to maybe securing the medication and putting it in a device that would dispense it at the right time and specifically the right medication. Now, depending on what stage the person is in, this will work up to a certain point, but we shouldn't depend on the person's memory for taking their medication. As a caregiver, you have to now be in control and figure out how to give them their medication. Okay, so that's one thing is you need to find out how you're going to do it. Ask for help. Can she ask family members, maybe neighbors or other people, call in to find out where she can get help. So Sarah called her mother's doctor, and the doctor informed her that she was taking a new medication that may be causing drowsiness. So Sarah asked for help, and now her mother stays at home with a nurse while Sarah works. Okay. So it's really important with the medications is that you talk to the doctor and you make a list of all the medications that they're taking that are prescribed and over the counter, any vitamins, supplements, any herbal kind of things that they're taking, because those interactions can cause an effect. So let the doctor know what they're taking, and they can see if maybe that's a cause of the problem. All right. So some other things, medication safety tips, keep organized, make a list and keep an updated list of all the medications that you're taking. It's always good to have them with you. Keep a local poison control center and emergency room phone numbers on hand. Managing the medication, using a pill box or other methods to organize the medications. So this will work to a certain point because the person will see the little dispenser and the alarm going off. It's time to take their medicine, and they'll dispense it, but then they'll forget to take it. They'll leave it right there, right next to the dispenser. I know that for a fact. So, keeping medications in the original container in a safe, locked place is also very important. Any of the extras, if you fill a pill box, keep the other medications locked up. So, for the caregiver, keep a regular schedule when taking medications. Use simple words, clear instructions, and short sentences. And this is one thing that, again, in communicating with someone with dementia, you have to keep the directions short and simple. And if they don't understand it the first time, just repeat the same sentence. Do not try to rephrase it or expand on it, because that'll only confuse them more. So keep it short and simple. And if they don't understand it, just repeat the same thing. Okay? And again, allow plenty of time to take the medication. And again, use a calm, soft voice and encourage you to take their medications. So we're come to the end of the presentation, and these are all the services that we offer. We have a helpline that for free support and referrals. If there's a situation you don't know how to handle, you can call. We have our care consulting. There would be they are almost like your personal helpline. They will get to know your situation, your family, and they will help come up with a care plan for you. And they will, get you information and other resources. We also offer support groups for people. We do education and training such as this, and we have opportunities to volunteer and fundraise. And all of this right now is being done virtual. So, as things have changed, everything's gone virtual now. So this is our website, alzheimersla.org. Our helpline number is 844-435-7259. So that's it. So if there's any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
Thank you for that, Efren. I really appreciate all that great information. And even if I could say this, some of those were definitely reminders of little things that we might forget from time to time. So for me, actually, I had I don't know if there are much questions, but they're more so just kind of maybe a request. Do you, and if you can, this is just if you can send this over to me, and then for anyone else that might be interested in this, I'd love to have this handy so I could share it with them. The Medic Alert bracelet, I think that's a great thing to have. So I would love to have that resource. I know I have your information actually on our support group page. So for anyone that leaves today and thinks, oh, I forgot who this group was or this organization, they are on our resource page. You'll be able to click on their link and it'll redirect you to their website. So you'll have that information there. And I'd love to have that as part of one of my resources on a different tab. But if I can get that from you, I would really appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And then also maybe, do you have any like resource tip sheets kind of like for this, how to make your home safe? I thought this was great. Just reminders every day where it's something, easy to read, friendly tips. Do you have something like that?
On our website, actually, at alzheimersla.org, we have a lot of caregiver tip sheets that go over different, subjects. One of them is making the home safe. And we have other things too, medications and behaviors. Communicating is also another one. So, and we have it in English.
Oh, perfect. Great. Yeah. So for anyone that might be interested in a tip sheet, I think that would be great. You shared again a lot of valuable information where there's some maybe new tips that people might not have thought of, or maybe came across it and forgot about it. So I think it'd be great to share. So there's that for everyone that is interested in a tip sheet. I'll go ahead and also get that link out of from your website and go ahead and add that also on our resource page. I think, again, it's super handy to have, especially for those that are just going, new caregivers. I think it'd be great to share.
We also offer classes that are specifically for caregivers. We offer a 3-week course. It's the class is 2 hours long, and it meets 3 times over 3 weeks. And then we have that's called Savvy Express, Savvy Caregiver Express. And then we have the Savvy Caregiver, which is a more detailed, in-depth 6-week course. So it meets once a week for 2 hours for 6 weeks. And more than happy to have anyone who's a caregiver for someone with dementia to sign up. They're free. And we're offering virtual, so more than willing to help them learn the skills and give them the knowledge to be a better caregiver.
Great, that's awesome. I love that. So yeah, for anyone that's listening and that might be interested, again, I'm going to add a little bit more information in the chat box in case that you didn't get any of Efren's. I'm more than happy to share that with you. I don't have any questions. I thought you were very thorough. It was great information. And I don't see any questions in the chat box. So that just means you did a great job today. So yeah, so I want to give you maybe 1 more or 2 more minutes for anyone that might still have a lingering question, please feel free to add that in the chat box. As we kind of finish up here, for anyone that maybe logged in a little late, or if you would like to share this webinar with any loved ones or friends that might find this useful, I will be adding this onto our page as well. So this will be a webinar that will be added to our support group webpage. So you won't miss out on this opportunity to either rewatch it or share it with someone that you might think will find this useful. Okay, how do we find, oh, we have a question. So how do we find information about the LA Found Tracking Bracelet Program?
Okay, so if you go, you can go to our website as well, or call our helpline, and we can definitely help you there. But you can also go to the LA County Workforce Development and Aging Services, WEDAX. They run the program for the county, and they can help you there. But if you just come to our website or call our helpline number, you know, where the helpline number is our gateway to all of our services that we provide, and resources, other resources.
Okay, great. And then I had one more question. Can we get a copy of the slides?
Yeah, I can. I'll email you a PDF form.
Yeah, and again, this goes back to adding this webinar up to our website group page. I always add our presentations with the PowerPoint attached. So you have the option to watch the watch the webinar, and then underneath that webinar option, you'll see the opportunity to review the PowerPoint. So it will be up on our slide. Again, if you have any questions that maybe you think of a little bit later once we're done with the webinar and you want to directly ask Efren, I am more than happy to forward them to him for you. If you didn't get his information, I did add mine in the chat box, so feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help you. For those of you that are not in LA or not in Riverside County, if you would like some assistance in finding specific resources that you were interested in during this webinar, I am more than happy to help you out with that. So again, my email is in that chat box, so feel free to reach out to me. I don't see any more questions, so I'm going to go ahead and just thank everyone for attending today and taking the time out of their day to either think of new ways to make the home safe, or recall on some ways to make your home safe that you forgot about. Efren, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us this morning and sharing this information with us.
My pleasure, and thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, well, I hope everyone has a great day, and I hope to see you again next time around. All right. Have a great day, everyone.